Well, hello there. This is Glenn Greenidge and Tom Pope, and we're coming to you this week, and we're going to have some conversations about inflation and what is being done to curb it, and what are the implications for some of the big corporations who are making lots of money. So, Tom, what are your thoughts?
Well, I'm thinking about the average person who goes to the supermarket, buys gas, has problems with the rising costs of living. Meanwhile, is it fair that, for example, according to The Guardian, um, oil companies' profits have soared 174 billion this year? 174 billion. And what is happening to people in the community? They go to buy gas and look at what they're paying. What's fair in our society? That's the big question.
Well, you talk about gas prices, and it seems like it's been going up a few cents every day for the last, month, maybe even month and a half. And um, I can't see a whole lot as being done. And you just talked about the tremendous profits that are being made by the gas companies. But yet we as the consumers in the community aren't getting any kind of break. And let me ask you this, is this just to recoup the losses that they had in the beginning of the pandemic when everything was shut down and people weren't driving?
It's hard to answer that without doing a lot of investigative research. But we have, in general, a sense of greed. When you look at corporations around the country, look at what they've done with the COVID relief funds that were supposed to stimulate the economy. Much of the corporate relief funds going to the COVID relief funds going to the corporations were used in company buybacks. That is a process where the corporation buys back its own stock with money instead of rebuilding so that people in the community can benefit. This is helping shareholders. What if you don't happen to be a shareholder? What rights do you have?
Well, you're pointing to a couple of things there. I know that demand had gone down initially during the pandemic, and a lot of refiners cut back or even stopped operations. Seems to me now with this latent demand, they haven't kicked back the supply to match the increase in demand. And of course, the prices are going up and up and up. And it looks like to me, I'm not an operations guy when it comes to that field, but it doesn't look like they're moving very quickly to increase that supply because they're making so much profit from the supply that's out there. So there's really not a whole lot of incentive for them to ramp it back up because they can kind of lay back and make the money off the profits that they're making now.
The average person in the community also is not hearing the full story. And many times they will hear false news from the right. I've heard many people complain that part of the problem is Biden's refusal to work with the Keystone Pipeline, as though this would help with a supply of oil. actually, the Keystone Pipeline was never designed to come to America. All of its oil was being shipped through America to Texas to be sent overseas. And it's not even the type of oil used for gasoline. But the right is making it sound as though that was the purpose. So we have bad communication going on.
Wow. Yeah. You know, when you think about the missed opportunity, you know, we're trying to crank back up the economy. And now you've got all these supply chain issues. You said it earlier, the person walks into the supermarket and they're walking out with a bag of groceries and it's $50. And you know, you used to get at least two, maybe even three bags at one point in time, but certainly at least two. And now you know, it's half the price, and it doesn't look like inflation is going to be going anywhere, and there are not any controls to protect it. Now you quoted an article earlier when we were off camera about something that was done after World War II. Would you speak to that a little bit?
FDR during World War II put in place price controls. Now, the price controls actually stabilized the country, stopped inflation, and enabled America to be able to help the average person. Actually, Nixon performed the same function. Nixon put on price controls that helped a problem that could have led to a depression during his reign. But there has been no talk today about Biden putting in place price and wage controls. This would help.
Is this something that the right would call too much government control or too much entanglement?
Anytime we talk about the government trying to help many people in society, the right always considers that too much government control.
But that's seemingly what we need at this point in time.
Exactly.
Is to control the price increases. Well, let's shift the conversation a little slightly. What do you think the Federal Reserve has been in this whole inflation conversation? What kind of job do you think that they're doing?
I don't have any background information into that area. But I think whatever they're doing, the main focus should be on the price control.
You know, one of the things that they've talked about, and they've raised interest rates, and of course, raising interest rates are to slow down the inflation. But it seems to me that they've been a little slow to react, and it's now after the fact that they've now put in a couple of price increases, but we're already talking about 10 and 11% inflation, which seems like they should have been doing that about a year ago or so.
Well, I think one of the major problems is that our system, capitalism, has been going through a volatile up and down type of spiral for years. And unless we have some type of control, we're going to continue having those spirals. So even with reaction by the Federal Reserve, those spirals will still occur.
Yeah. So in closing, what What do you think? What are our best chances of getting control of this inflation?
I think the best chance would be for having more of the progressive voice listened to by the Democratic Party.
And certainly price controls would be one of those conversations.
Exactly.
All right.
What do you think?
I agree with you. I think that more needs to be done. I think that the corporate greed factor has got to be put in check. And right now, I don't see any way of doing that governmentally because of the split viewpoints. But we the people who are not the rich and the famous need some relief, and it's not happening, and something's got to give.
Well, if you like what you're listening to, contact us on our Facebook page, Community and Social Change.
Thank you.